are two kinds of silence in an old house. The one you expect, thick, harmless, filled with dust and forgotten air, and the other kind of silence, the kind that listens back. Elena didn't believe in ghosts. She believed in structure, in noise, in the satisfying hum of the world moving forward. But after her grandmother's death, she inherited the woman's countryside house, a two-story structure swallowed by ivy and wrapped in the quiet ache of nowhere. It was supposed to be a break from the city, 2 weeks, just enough time to sort through her grandmother's things before selling the place. The first night was uneventful. Rain tapped against the windows, a mouse rustled somewhere in the kitchen, and the old clock coughed its way to midnight. But around 2 in the morning, Elena woke to a faint rhythmic sound. It wasn't the rain. It wasn't the pipes. It was a slow tap, 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 coming from inside the walls right next to her bed. She pressed her ear against the wallpaper. The tapping stopped. Then 3 distinct knocks echoed from the other side. By morning, she blamed it on the wood settling. Old houses do that, especially ones older than memory. She brewed coffee and tried to ignore how her hands trembled slightly. The house, she noticed now, felt far too cold, even with the fire roaring in the hearth. She wrapped herself in a shawl that used to belong to her grandmother, a wool thing that smelled faintly of lavender and mothballs, and started cleaning the attic. There, under the slanted beams and dust-frozen air, she found a chest carved with strange patterns, circles inside circles. It was locked, but the key hung right beside it, as if it were waiting for her. Inside were notebooks, leather-bound and dated in shaky handwriting from the 1950s. Each one was filled with short, frantic entries. The voice came again from behind the wall. "It knows my name now. If anyone finds this, don't open the plaster." That night, the sound returned. Louder this time. Faster. Tap, tap, tap. But this time, it moved, sliding along the wall, then stopping right behind her headboard. Elena froze. She whispered into the dark, "Who's there?" The reply came as a breath, faint, drawn through invisible teeth. You shouldn't have read her words. Her chest locked up. She stumbled for the light switch. The bulb flickered, humming like an insect caught in glass. When the light finally steadied, the tapping had stopped. But a hairline crack now split the wall, running from the ceiling down to the floor, thin as a vein. Over the next few days, the noise became constant. Sometimes it was scratching. Other times, it was whispers that sounded just like her grandmother calling from another room. Elena tried sleeping in the kitchen, but even there she heard the walls breathing, in when she exhaled, out when she held her breath. She recorded it on her phone one night, hoping to prove it was just the house creaking. But when she played it back, there was something else. A voice, raspy, too close to the microphone, whispering, "Elena, you brought me back." She threw the phone against the wall. The crack widened. Something dark seeped from it, almost invisible in the low light, like smoke, but heavier, desperate. She called the local caretaker, Mr. Hargrove, an old man who'd watched over the property for decades. He arrived before sunset, moving slowly through the rooms, muttering to himself. When he reached the bedroom, his face drained of all color. "You opened the chest, didn't you?" he asked, his voice shaking. "I just looked," Elena began. "That wasn't for you. She sealed it to keep the thing in." He refused to say more. He told her to leave, to not stay another night. But Elena couldn't just abandon the house. She had nowhere else to go. At dusk, Hargrove left her a small wooden cross and a line of salt on the windowsill. "Don't cross it," he said, "and don't answer if it knocks." Midnight came like a held breath. The tapping began again, slower now, deliberate. It paused. Then came a single knock, dead center on the wall. Elena pressed her hands over her ears, whispering, "You're not real." The voice seeped through the cracks like a sigh. "Then stop listening." The wall shuddered. The crack split open wide enough to reveal something. Movement. A hand, gray, long-fingered, with nails scraping the edges of the plaster. It pressed through, leaving streaks like ash. Elena screamed, stumbling back, tripping over the rug. The cross fell from the nightstand and rolled toward the crack, stopping just at its edge. The thing hissed. The smoke recoiled. She grabbed the cross, pressing it against the opening. The wall breathed in sharply, then went still. Morning light crept in, pale and cold. The crack remained, sealed but still there, like a scar. Elena packed her things. She meant to leave truly. But as she reached for the front door, she heard something new. Not a tap, a cry. Soft, muffled, coming from inside the wall, near the hallway. It sounded like a child. "Help me," it whimpered. Her heart clenched. She hesitated just for a second. Then she turned back, following the sound toward the staircase. The closer she got, the colder the air became. The walls pulsed faintly, as if veins ran beneath the plaster. At the base of the stairs, she saw it, a small square patch where the wallpaper looked newer. She pressed it. It gave way, soft. Behind it were wooden boards, nailed shut. The crying stopped. Then, 3 gentle knocks from the other side. Elena whispered, "Who are you?" The voice came back, fragile and familiar. "You locked me in, Grandma." Her breath caught. "That's not possible," she said, her own voice trembling. "Let me out," it begged. "It's so dark." She staggered back, shaking her head. "No, no." "Then I'll come out myself." The boards snapped one by one. Cold air burst from the wall, carrying the smell of soil and rot. The lights went out. In the dark, something shifted. The sound of limbs unfolding after years of stillness. Elena ran to the door, but it slammed shut on its own. A whisper filled the house, layers of voices woven into one. Her grandmother's, her own, and others she didn't recognize. "She fed us with her blood. Now it's your turn." The floorboards bulged. Hands, dozens of them, pushed up through the wood, reaching. She tried to scream, but felt fingers close around her ankle, cold and wet. She kicked free, grabbed the old shawl and wrapped it tight around her arm. It began to move, the threads tightening, pulsing like veins. She tore it off, throwing it into the fireplace. The flames roared blue. The voices screamed with it. The hands recoiled. The house trembled as if it were in pain. And then, silence. When the fire burned out, dawn crept in again. The walls were still, the air empty. Elena sat in the center of the room, surrounded by ash and broken boards. She didn't move for hours. Eventually, footsteps echoed from the porch. Mr. Hargrove had returned, calling her name. When he found her, she was standing near the wall, her fingers tracing the sealed crack. "It's quiet again," she said softly. "You should go," he replied. She smiled, a thin, distant smile. "I can't. Someone has to listen." He tried to pull her away, but her skin felt cold, almost waxy. She turned to him slowly, and for the first time, he noticed her eyes. They weren't hers anymore. They were the same dull gray as the hand that had reached through the wall. That night, the house stood silent once more. From the road, it looked peaceful. No lights, no movement. But if you were to press your ear to the wall near the old bedroom, you'd hear it. A faint, steady rhythm. Tap, 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 waiting for someone to answer. Thanks for watching. If this story sent a shiver down your spine, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the shadows. Sleep well, if you can.